Hey guys, it's me again, Christian. How are you? We are in week 4, and narrative literature is the topic of the week here in Old Testament Literature 1. Got some objectives here for you. I'm in the week 4 folder as usual. We want you to demonstrate an understanding of the narrative genre and the way in which it conveys the interest of the author, and then also utilize some basic Bible study observation techniques in the study of the Old Testament narrative literature. So, this is the second week on narrative. Narrative is a massive part of the Old Testament, as you well know, and as you will well see throughout this course. And because this is Old Testament Literature 1, we're hitting the sections of Old Testament that are primarily narrative. So that's why so much of this particular course will hit narrative. There's obviously other parts of it that we will touch on, and then Old Testament Literature 2 will touch on some other genres of the Old Testament text. But this week, you're reading as usual. Most of it is in your textbooks. You've got one article in the resource folder down here that you need to read called Order and the Abuse of Power. In here, your Bible reading this week is in 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings. This week, what is due? Do not forget the story analysis, which all of you have started because you listened to your professor and you started when I told you to. I sure hope, or it's going to be a busy week. That's due at the end of this week, as well as the 2nd Samuel analysis, which I will go over momentarily. No discussion board this week, mostly because you've got these 2 assignments that are due. We're trying to be loving and allow you to work on those and focus on those things. So no discussion board this week. You want to make sure you do really well on these assignments. So let's touch on those and go from there. Okay. The 2nd Samuel analysis. Well, let me just touch on the story analysis that's due at the end of this week really quick. Again, the documents that you need for this assignment are in the Lesson 3 resource folder. So if by chance you haven't started, which would be horrible but not the end of the world, go back to Lesson 3 to find those. And this, again, is the study of Judges 16. Please go back and watch my video if you haven't already on this assignment. Let me know by email if you have any questions. And I have noticed that I think some of your email messages, if you use your personal accounts for some reason, are going to my junk or spam. So I will respond to all of you in less than 24 hours. That is my covenant promise to all of you. If you do not get an email from me, try another means, whether another email account or call MDL and say you couldn't get a hold of me. It's not because I'm lazy. It's because it didn't get to me. So make sure you get to me. If you haven't heard a response in 24 hours, it is not because I am busy. If I'm busy, I will still get back to you within 24 hours, even if it is, hey, I'm really busy. Can I call you tomorrow? Or, if it's not an easy question, I will let you know a response. Okay? Usually much shorter than that. Less than 24 hours by far, sometimes within minutes, if you haven't noticed, many of you. So that's the story analysis. That's due the end of this week. Have a good time with that. And then, I covered it last week. I'm not going to go into it much more right now. 2nd Samuel analysis. You will study literary techniques biblical authors use to advance their arguments, points, and ideas. In this assignment, you will complete an in-depth literary study of 2 Samuel 11, the story of David's sin with Bathsheba and Uriah. Using the principles learned in the reading, A, observe the text's use of repetition, creation of presence, authority, evaluation, patterns, models, dramatic impact, and detail. And then B, for each observation, include an estimation of what the author is trying to accomplish through these literary features. Again, the purpose of this assignment is to observe and consider the text's use of literary devices to emphasize ideas, concepts, and evaluations within the story. To provide direction for students in this assignment, see the document in Week 4's Lesson Resources folder titled 2 Samuel Analysis Guide. this assignment should be submitted using the 2 Samuel analysis worksheet in the course resource folder. What does that mean, you ask? Okay, in the lesson 4 resource folder, click down there. You're going to see 2 documents. I already have them pulled up for convenience sake. You're going to see the analysis guide. All right. This guide has been adapted from the Dutcher Wells reading, and we even tell you the page numbers to look to for that. So students, you need to refer to this chapter in the reading before using the outline below. Okay, so read that chapter, and then this outline is to help you. This is not what you turn in. This is a guide to help you. So you see these dynamics of repetition, building presence, how is authority used, and so forth and so on. Okay, this is an outline from the Dutcher Wells reading on these pages. Now, in addition to that, here's a brief list of questions that should aid you in knowing what to look for in the text to complete the assignment. You're welcome to include these details when you submit your worksheet. So questions like, what is the text doing in verse 1? Saying both the time when kings go out to battle and but David remained at Jerusalem. So what's going on there? What is the purpose of the dramatic battle language in verse 1 in relation to the last sentence? In 11:3, what details is given about the woman bathing? What does this accomplish for the reader? So these sorts of questions are meant to help you and guide you. You can actually use them in your worksheet, but these are specifically meant to give you some of the questions that would be good for you to be asking as you do the assignment. Now, the worksheet itself is here. 2 Samuel analysis worksheet. All right, so this is essentially just a table for you to fill in to organize your thoughts and your answers for this week. So you're going to find literary devices, okay? You're going to give the name of the literary device according to the language in your reading. This is DHB. It needs to be RHB, just like I told you back here. It's from the reading of Dutcher Wells. So Dutcher Wells, I think we just got the letters mixed up. So it's from that reading, okay? So according to the language that she uses, you're going to be giving the chapter and verse and what the literary device is and what is the author trying to accomplish, okay? Those are the 3 things. That's it. So essentially you're just finding literary devices in this text of 2 Samuel 11, telling us where the chapter and verse is that you're finding this, and then what's the author trying to accomplish in this. So organize them in that order. We want you to do at least 15 of these observations for full credit. If you do them, they don't all have to be right, but they do have to have some rationale. We, again, as usual, with these assignments in class and these worksheets, it's really easy to tell if you're putting the effort in or not. We're not looking to be nitpicky. I understand this is the first time most of you are doing this. So you do a good job, you'll get a full score again. We'll give you some examples after the week is over. We're not going to be, again, giving tons of feedback on this because this is just asking you to demonstrate that you're understanding the reading, how to find these literary devices, and if you're doing a good job, great. Full credit, and then we'll give you some ideal examples at the end of the week. So that's just what to expect grading wise. We got a lot of students, so it's not like I'm going to be writing a novel back to you guys. This is just to ensure that you're understanding what we're looking for with this concept of literary devices, and that is it for the week. So 2 Samuel analysis, story analysis, and do your reading report, and that's week 4. Please contact me if you got any questions. And have a fantastic week, and enjoy the fact that you get to learn at the best, if not one of the best, Bible training schools in the world with a rich history we're all a part of. It's a privilege to be your professor, to be involved in your biblical training, and I hope you guys are appreciating in the midst of kind of the grind of middle of the course. I hope you guys are appreciating what you guys are able to do and the significance of doing. Okay, so that's it. I had a little blurb in the recording, but yeah, again, message me if you have questions. Look forward to interacting with you guys as the course continues. Bye-bye.